Good evening, fuckers. We are back with the next Train Simulator Classic request video. And this one is, I think, going to be quite the challenging one. So this was a request from JimJimPlays, and I think it might be a bit of a revenge one for me requesting that he do a vid in the Class 87, which apparently is coming, but so I think he's chosen a train or a loco that I struggle with, although it's not quite as bad as it used to be. So yeah, he's chosen the Class 68. The train is actually going to consist of 6 Mark II coaches. It is going to look a little bit out of place because it's ScotRail livery. It's the only 68 I have. And yet the line we're on is the Huddersfield Line. We are doing the Trans-Pennine run. We are doing the full length of it as well. So we are starting at Leeds and our destination is Manchester, Victoria. And as far as the specifics, it's autumn, it's raining, and it's 10:30. So yes, that's the setup. Let's get her underway. So here we are, in the cab of the Class 68. I do like the cab here. This is, it has a lot of features, and for once, quite a few of them you can interact with. So, right, let's start with getting the lights sorted out, and the windscreen wiper, because we are certainly going to need that today. And we'll put on the ETS because the passengers are going to need things like lighting and almost certainly need heating as well on a day like this. Here is our external view. Here is our 68. Good looking train, 68. I do like how it looks. The only thing that I didn't like about the 68 was the braking system, but I have of course sorted that out. So here we have our ScotRail coaches, all 6 of them. It does look like they are all quite busy as well, or all quite full. But the front coach here isn't even on the platform. Now around Leeds, the frames per second does take quite a battering, as you can see with this approaching 158 here. But yeah, as we get further away from Leeds and that, it picks up significantly. Right, well, I think I've got everything sorted out. Let's get us ready. So I can also show that even the computer display here, it is partially interactive. We can actually change the display here. but I prefer having this one because it means I can see quite easily the amount of braking that I am doing. So, right, speaking of braking, let's get the brakes off. So Manchester Victoria 42.83 miles away. Once the brakes are off, as they are now, we can get underway. So it's a mere 15 mph limit as we pull out of Leeds station. It won't be long before we can go up to 25, and then we have a series of gradual speed increases. So I must admit, I am not the biggest fan of this route, the Trans-Pennine route. It's yeah, obviously there are an absolute shitload of like gradients now that you've got to watch out for. There's a hell of a lot of tunnels, and as I mentioned in previous videos, you know, the APT video, I'm not keen on going through tunnels in this game. I know it's pretty pathetic, but there you go. And also, the route is never as scenic as you would imagine. You'd think going through the Pennines it would be like a fantastically scenic route, but no, it's not particularly. Now, speaking of gradients, yeah, we're already on a 1 in 108 uphill gradient, and this is already impacting on our abilities to get around. So they're on a 30 mph section. We're not going to catch up with I didn't see what train or what loco was pulling that train up ahead. I think it's a 47. Right, we are no longer speeding. Now we're on a 1 in 82 uphill, so yeah, again our speed is coming down at quite a rate. But yeah, we're now on a 45 mph section, and very soon entering a 75, and then we can get some proper decent speed under us. So we're now there. Let's put it in the full throttle. Notch 8 for full throttle. There's no shortage of notches on this thing anymore. Any more than this, and it would have needed a tap changer. So we have a station coming up, Cottingley. Yeah, it's Cottingley. We are not stopping there. We will stop at 2 stops along the way. We'll stop at the obvious 2, so Huddersfield and Stalybridge. They'll be the only 2 stops along the route. Yeah, too slow with the Here comes another fucking shitty 142. Yeah, I mean, something far superior to that. Mind you, those old wagons where you you know, push the lever up and down in the middle, I think on alone would be preferable to a 142. So we're still on an uphill gradient, 1 in 152. So we do still lose speed at quite the rate. So we are approaching Cottingley Station, what there is of it. Yeah. Now apparently, I was not aware of this, but yeah, apparently the Class 68s did used to run on the Trans-Pennine route. They don't strike me as being the immediately sort of like obvious choice for this particular route, but yep, they did used to run it. Now the Class 68, it could be argued that it is an unusual choice of loco for this game, not just the route. The reason being, I've got to start braking for this 45 that's coming up. The reason being pretty much the same reason as to why the Class 801 is an unusual choice. In fact, I think lazy choice is probably a more accurate term. Right, there we go. We're fine now for the speed limit for the upcoming station at Morley. But yes, I mean, so with the Class 801, yeah, lazy choice, because the 800 series, you have, say, the 801 is pretty much the sort of entry-level version of it. All the rest, we're now in another 75 section, so we can get some proper speed up now. But yeah, all the rest of the 800 series, they have the speed set feature, which you don't see in the 801. They also have dual mode. They all have a diesel engine so that the train can run on rails and routes that have not been electrified. And the diesel engine is quite powerful. When it's using diesel power, it can go up to 110 mph. But no, Dovetail Games decided to put the 801 in, and say I think it's a lazy choice because it means they haven't got to code in things like the additional engine and that, and the ability to switch between modes or anything like that. Now the 68, there is something similar there. See, along with the 68, there is also a Class 88. And the 88 looks identical to the 68, and it sounds identical as well. But the 88 has the dual mode feature. We're about to hit a fairly steep downhill section, I think. Yeah, 1 in 139 as we approach Batley station. Well, I say approach it, it's still a mile away. Anyway, yes, so the Class 88 has dual power, as well as the diesel engine that the 68 here has. It is a diesel electric. The 88 also has the pantograph. It can take power from the lines overhead. Which is rather handy. Certainly handy in real life. I mean, it means that while it's while it's on lines that have the power, they're not having to pay out for fuel to the fuel thing. But in the game, it's nowhere near as important. Largely because you would imagine that when the 88 is using the overhead electrical power, it will perform better. It will have, higher top speed, faster acceleration. In fact, it doesn't. It still performs identically to a 68. So there really isn't any point in putting the 88 into the game, because you've got no real reason to use the overhead electrical power if you're on such a line, because the loco is going to perform exactly the same way. As this is a simulator, you haven't got to worry about things like fuel consumption and stuff like that, because why would you need to worry about that? Ravensthorpe station is coming up. Let's get us a bit closer to the 75. Okay, let's not, because we've got a reduction to 40 coming up. And we have flashing yellows, so that 40 is a set of points. So we can start slowing using this brake here. So here is Ravensthorpe station. In fact, it does look like we are going to be able to decelerate just fine. No, we're not. Okay, we do have to put some of the there we go. There we go, now we are okay as far as speed. So this must be the points that, no it's not, we're nowhere near the 40 yet. So yeah, we're into the 40 section now, and these are the points we're going over. So I think if we had stayed on that line, that would have taken us to the likes of Wakefield, and then I think, yeah, carries on south, I think. Or it might be, actually it might be it's going the other way, so it's taking us, it would be taking us to like Bradford and northwards from there. So Mirfield, however you pronounce this place, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a station that is properly spread out all over the place, as I am speeding again quite a bit. So So I am somewhat butchering this attempt at the moment, but so I always had the impression that this was not going to be straightforward. So with all these gradients and everything, trying to maintain your speed is tricky, to say the least. And when you're driving a loco where you effectively have a choice of braking systems, it's never a straightforward task. So here we have class 47. Now I'm pretty sure earlier on there was a class 47 that was using the GVR freight livery. I was not expecting that. Okay, so now we finish the splitting off the main line. I think this is where like the Trans-Pennine section really does begin in earnest. So yeah, we're now up to 70 mph. Let's give it some full whack. So we're on a 1 in 146, but yeah, we were still gaining speed, so that is something that you got to constantly watch out for, because even though it was only in notch 1, yeah, our speed was increasing. It's increasing at a very slow rate, but when I do my inevitable exterior shot, yeah, I've got to make sure that I'm not accelerating. I don't want any more speeding errors, thank you very much. So here we are at Dayton Station. I mean, it really was much of a nothing, that one, wasn't it? So alongside what must surely be the Leeds and Liverpool Canal. So we have a speed decrease coming up to 40, but it is Huddersfield Station that we are approaching, and that is our first stop. There's our alert. Yeah, that's the alert for the 40 as we are approaching Huddersfield. We'll just use the regular brakes. I think we need to increase the braking somewhat. No, I've increased it by way too much. But, okay, there we go. So speed for our approach is fine. Now I'm fairly sure that we'll be able to get all of the coaches onto the platform. Yeah, no problem. So, yep, here we are at Huddersfield Station. Can't really see a lot of Huddersfield while we are in here. Believe me, you're not missing anything. Okay. Doors are shut. Let's yeah, get back underway. Now, basically, as soon as we hit the end of this platform, we are now in a 30 mph section. So there we are, and I think this tunnel is fairly short, and the 50 mph section is at the end of it. Or I could be completely wrong, and there's the start of it there, and we're nowhere near the end of the tunnel. So now we just have to wait for the rest of the train to actually enter the 30 section. We're on a 1 in 95 uphill. Here we are, so we are now fully in there. Let's get some max throttle up. So yeah, very short old gap there, and then we're in the next tunnel. But a very short one. So we're now in a 65 zone. Let's and now 75 zone, so we can get some properly a decent speed up now. So now on a 1 in 104 uphill section, we have another 47. Slathwaite station coming along in a mile and a half. So the climb is not quite so steep now. Okay, well, that didn't last long. It's now back to 1 in 104. So here we are at Slathwaite Station. Again, the two platforms nowhere near each other. And I'm sure there is a legit reason for doing that, but I'm fucked if I know what it is. So we have a couple of speed decreases coming along. The 60 mph one is so soon after the 70 that we may as well treat this speed reduction as a 60 right off the bat. And then after Marsden Station it goes down again to 45. So okay, we're fine for the 70 mph speed reduction. I think the combination of this steep uphill climb and these, the other brakes that I'm using will, easily be enough to get us to the 60. There we go, we're already there. I'm needing to, reduce the rate at which our speed is going down now. I can only assume that's the warning for the 45. Yes, it is. So it was a bit late for the 60. Although, actually saying that, I'm sure plenty of trains would have been able to make that just fine. So again, we'll use a combination of the gradient and the regular brakes. Yeah, there we go. We are down. Yeah, we're now fine there as well. So here we are at Marsden Station. Actually look like a 3 or 4 platform station. So by this area, it's quite a large, major station indeed. Oh, we dropped a lot of speed there. Well, we dropped 5 miles per hour. It's not a lot. Well, it feels like a lot when you're playing the game. And now I've overdone it and started speeding. So this tunnel is a pretty hefty one. But now we'll go up to 85. This will I think this is the fastest we can do on the entire route. If we can actually get up to 85. See, the acceleration rate of this it's okay. It's not remarkable, but it's not bad. I think we've got a good chance of making it to 85 by before we reach the ends of the tunnel. I mean, the fact that we're talking about a tunnel that's about 3 miles long does help. I was told the name of this tunnel, but yeah, I've already long since forgotten it. So we have a 60 mph section fast approaching, but I'm going to see if we can get this to 85. I'm pretty confident we will, because, well, yeah, we are now there. Yeah, I can't even put it into notch 1, it will still accelerate. But as it is, yeah, we've now got to start braking, and we are going to need both brakes combined. Well, we don't need both brakes combined, but I will use yeah, I think that is absolutely fine. There we go. Speed is now perfectly okay. We are finally making it to the end of the tunnel. So this 60 mph section is technically very short indeed. So here it is, we've just started it. And now we are entering a 65, but of course we've got to, yeah, we had to wait for the whole train to enter it. As it is, we're now on a 1 in 125 downhill gradient, so we do not need to use much throttle indeed. In fact, I'm only going to take us to, yeah, 63.5, and we'll let the downhill slope take us the rest of the way. Now we are certainly going to need to do the old controlled braking, but we don't need the big sort of main brakes to do that. We can just use the brakes on the yeah, on the throttle here. Greenfield station fast approaching. In fact, this run hasn't been anything like as difficult as I thought it was going to be. I mean, yes, I've had a lot of speeding errors, but my initial reaction that this train was not well suited to this line has proven to be completely wrong. The 68 has done a great job on here. It's almost as if the rail companies knew what they were doing when they actually put this into service on this route. And like I say at the start, I had no idea that the 68s ever actually ran the Trans-Pennine service, but yeah, it certainly looks as though they did. So here we are at Greenfield Station. So Mossley Station is the next one in a mile and a half. This downhill gradient we're on, I think, is about to get steeper. It's currently a 1 in 149. In fact, it has lessened very slightly by 1. So here we are approaching Mossley Station. It's not going to give us the old track side view. So speed reduction to 50 mph coming up in just over a mile, and that's on the approach to Stalybridge, so our second and final stop along the route. Yep, there's the morphers board for this approach. We're going to need to put some brakes there you go, so we're now fine for the next section. The fact that, yeah, we're still on this 1 in 124 downhill section, and we have a double yellow. That's okay. I think we are approaching points once we come out of Stalybridge station, so yeah, the fact that that was double yellow, I don't think it's going to be that much of a worry. Right, we definitely need to start braking here. I've left the braking a bit late, so yeah, we're braking quite a bit harder than I normally would. So the entire train is on the platform. So, yep. So this is Stalybridge. Yeah, what a lovely part of the country this is, eh? Yeah. Anyway, this is our, well, it's the last stop along the route, our penultimate stop of the trip. Our next stop is the final stop at Manchester Victoria. And we are, yeah, less than 8 miles away from it. So let's get back underway. We don't want to throttle too much because, yes, okay, it's a 50 mph at the moment, but yeah, once we pass this signal, I think we are then, yeah, going on to these points here, which means that we are, yeah, on a 25 mph section. Nope. soon going to be up to 60. There we go. Right, let's give it some full throttle here. Speed increase goes up to 70 in less than half a mile. We have Ashton-under-Lyne station coming up, but we're just going to be going straight through there. So we're into a 70 zone, so we'll be able to go through Ashton and give them some good old full thrash. Yeah, there we are. But I am now going to have to yeah, stop the old full thrash treatment, otherwise we would have started speeding. So yes, delightful Ashton-under-Lyne, what a lovely place. We are now on a 75 mph section, so yeah, let's get our speed up while we can. So we're now on a 1 in 100 downhill section. This is yeah, definitely going to require some controlled braking to try and keep our speed level. Actually, you're doing quite well. Approaching 158. Having seen the requests that I've had over the last sort of like 24 hours, unfortunately the 158 will be making another appearance. So speed reduction to 70 coming up. That is one where yeah, we can just use these secondary brakes. There we go. We're well inside that speed limit now. We were still the best part of a third of a mile away. Is that for the 60 or the 30? It's the 30. Yeah, we're going to need to brake pretty hard for that. Although, I mean, we don't need to brake that hard actually, because it's still over 3/4 of a mile away, so we also don't really need to have both braking systems active for it. So obviously we are more than fine for this 60 that's coming up. Let's increase braking to 4 on the gauge. Right, we can release the brakes now. We do have quite a steep downhill section coming up. Now again, that makes the fact that we have these sort of like two braking systems very handy, because that could be really awkward doing this downhill section if we only had like the main I've got to figure out, I've got to find out what the actual, like, you know, terms are for these things, because yeah, main brake and secondary brake, I'm sure that's not what they are known as. So we're on this downhill section now, 1 in 116. I actually thought it was going to be steeper than that. In fact, I think it is going to get steeper. Yeah, a lot steeper. It's now 1 in 47. So we're in the 50 mph zone. Timed that quite well actually. We entered the 50 zone just as we were going to start speeding. And we'll continue coasting until we are at 40 mph, which is the speed limit that's fast approaching. Now we'll use the secondary brakes to try and maintain our speed. Yeah, that's working quite nicely. So we're in the 40 zone, and Manchester Victoria is fast approaching. Double yellow is absolutely fine. They put a little bit of the main brakes on, and now release again. So there we are. So that was Leeds to Manchester on the Trans-Pennine line in the Class 68. It was actually a better run than I thought it would be. Like I said at the start, I'm not the biggest fan of this line, but yeah, that one wasn't bad at all. And Class 68, even though I didn't think it was going to be that great for this, and it was going to be, like, you know, quite the handful. In fact, yeah, it was a great loco for the route. I wasn't exactly flawless though. I've got a lot of speeding errors. Let's see how many I got. Yeah, 7. Yeah, that's not so good. But well, anyway, so that is that video done. Yeah, 7 errors, speeding errors. Yeah, that was a bit of a disaster, that, really. Oh well. Anyway, we got there, and we got there in one piece. So it could have been far worse. So yeah, that is that one done, and we will see you at the next one.